All right, good morning, class. Today is Thursday, April 9th, 2020. Yesterday we had a little mini lesson on review from third grade about perimeter and area and what they mean. And we learned that perimeter is going to be the outside of or fencing of a object or shape. That's going to be our perimeter. And our area here is going to be all of this space inside of that shape. There's different ways that we can use to find that out. Formulas for area, length times width. Formula for perimeter, twice times the length plus twice times the width, or adding up all sides. So taking a look at this problem here, which is an example from one of the assessments from last year. The area of the rectangular sandbox at Dave's school is 108 square feet. When you see 108 square feet meaning area, even says area here. The sandbox has a width of 9 feet as shown in the diagram. So if our width is 9, we are going to be given an unknown over here as our length. Our job probably is try to find that out. What is the length in feet of the sandbox? You're going to want to answer your answer in the box. Enter your answer in the box. So we know all of this area in here is going to be 108 square feet. If I look down at my formula here, I know the area, which is 108, is going to be equal to our length times our width. So 108 is going to be equal to, we already know our width, 9. 9 times a certain number is going to be equal to 108. There's multiple ways we could figure this out. We could divide 108 by 9. We could also use our 9 facts and multiply 9 by a certain number to get 108. Most of you already know that fact. But for those that don't, I'm going to do a quick division here. 9 times a certain number is going to have to get me close to 108. My best bet right now is to use a 10-cent coin. 9 times 10 is going to be 90. And we are going to be left with 18 after we have to regroup. And I know 9 times 2 is going to be equal to 18, so I'm going to make a 2-cent coin over here. Take away my 18, be left with nothing. And adding up our partial quotients, 10 plus 2 is going to be equal to 12. 12 is going to be 12 inches, is going to be our length of the sandbox. Now, if you found your length, they might ask you a separate question. Now that you found your length, they might ask you to find the perimeter. Perimeter, again, is adding up all your sides. So you would add 9 and 9 to get 18, and 12 and 12 to get 24. 18 and 24 would be 42. But since this question is not asking for it, we're going to move on to something called composite shapes. Oh, it is here. What's the perimeter? Since one side is 12, you know the other side is going to be 12. And one side is 9, you know the other side must be 9. 12 plus 12, we already said was 24. 24 plus 18, 42 feet. All right. So here we have a composite figure. Composite figure meaning they are putting two rectangles together in order to make a shape. And we are given some measurements, but as you can see, we don't have a measurement over here, and we don't have a measurement over here. And we're not going to be able to find our area or our perimeter without those lengths or sizes of the sides. So there are a couple of things you could do. But the first thing you want to do with this composite shape is you're going to want to break it up somehow. You're not going to want to leave it as it is. So I like taking a pen and kind of cutting to make two separate rectangles now. Now that I've made that line, I've made two separate rectangles that I could add together at the end to find my area or my perimeter. So our next part is going to be trying to find those sides. What are the measurements of those sides? So looking at it right now, I know this is 5, this is 7, this is another 5, and this is 3. We're going to need to use all of these measurements to figure out the unknown over here and the unknown up here. So I'm going to start with this top one up here. Looking at this top section here, we can find out that measurement by taking the similar one that's going parallel, which is this 7. So at least we know up until that point, this is 7. And then we can use the other side that's parallel here, 3. And we know this little section is 3. So 7 and 3 combined would be 10 centimeters. And I'm going ahead and not trying to confuse myself. I'm going to erase what I just did there. Hopefully you were following along. That's going to be 10 centimeters because this spot right here, that line, is worth 7, and this line is worth 3. And if you cover up the top section, you can actually see that this and this would cover the same amount of area as this top line here. All right, we found one side. There's another side that's still unknown. And we're going to use a similar tactic that we just used. I'm going to use a different color here since we're going to need to see it a little bit better. So in order to find this red side, we're going to have to use sides that are parallel to that red side. I see that this one's parallel. That's worth 5. So I'm going to cut it right there, and I know that this is worth 5 centimeters. And this one runs parallel too. So if I add that one with the other one, this is going to be 5 centimeters. If I add 5 and 5, I get 10 again. 5 plus 5 is going to be 10 centimeters. So this side is also 10 centimeters. You can't go by your eye though. You can't just look at it and know what it's worth because some of them are not drawn to scale. Drawn to scale means they're not drawn as accurately as they would be if this was a blueprint of the house, let's say. So they're not drawn to scale, some of them. So you're not going to be able to eye test it. So looking at it now we have all sides figured out. So we'll be able to find our perimeter and our area. Notice this is still broken in half or cut up in pieces. We want to leave it that way until we find the area of both of them. So to find the area of all of this stuff in here, we have to go to our conversion sheet. Area says length times width. We have our length, we have our width, multiplying them together, the area of this rectangle is going to be 50 centimeters. We're not finished though. We're going to have to find the area of this little rectangle too. This little rectangle. We also have the length and the width of as well. Length, how long something is, width, how wide something is. 5 times 3 going to be equal to 15. 15 centimeters squared and 50 centimeters squared, or squared centimeters. Now how to find the area of the whole figure, you got to add 50 plus 15 to get 65 centimeters squared. That's going to be our area. Perimeter, maybe a tiny bit easier for some of us, maybe not. But since we have all of our sides, shouldn't be too bad. We're just going to take all of our sides and add them up. So I know I have 10 right here and another 10 here. So 10 and 10. Then I'm going to want to use my 7, which is right here. I like to cross them out when I'm done using them. 10, 10, 7. We only have 3 more left. We've done this side. We've done this side. We've done this side. So now I need to take the 5s, 5 and 5. I'm going to go ahead and say that's already 10. I combined them. And then we have one little tiny measurement down here of 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to add them all together. I see something that can make a 10, 7 and 3. 7 and 3 I know makes a 10. So 10 plus another 10 plus another 10 plus another 10 is 40 centimeters. We're not going to put 40 centimeters squared because that's for area. Perimeter is only in regular units. Area is the one measurement that is in square units, whatever you're measuring in.